going to go through some things kind of quickly. You're not going to be able to keep up with me at the beginning. I just want you to have an overview of what this actually can do for you, so that if you kind of forget the steps of how to do it, you can still go, well, I know she said that it would do that, so I can go and figure out how to actually make that work. Because it's very user-friendly, so as long as you know the capabilities of it, you're going to, okay. So this is Edmodo, alright? You will get a screen where you can log in, okay, and I'll explain more about that later. But it's just a learning management system where it kind of streamlines. It gives, number one, it's going to give you a lot of more communication with your students. You can post, there's things on the website where you can post your lesson plans and all that on the website, but this gives you an added dimension where kids can comment back to you about all that stuff. Alright, so the kids sign up, and I'm just going to go real quick and show you kind of the features. Alright, so all of my classes I've set up through Edmodo. Alright, and this is not something that you're going to have to do for them. You're not going to have to sign them up with an account. They're going to sign up with their own account, and it's going to put them in one of your classes that you've set up. Alright, and so what you can do, so like this is my calculus class, okay? And it's kind of a Facebook feel. Alright, so here, all of my stuff that I've been showing, like I posted my notes from yesterday, I put it up here. My calculus kids are loving this. So it just depends on the kid whether they like to use it or not, but it's an added dimension for your classroom. I put up a link that I thought was really good. I posted my help schedule. Alright, and the cool thing about this is that the kids, when they sign up, they're going to be able to sign up to get these as messages on their phone. Okay? So when they go to their group, and I just told them to sign up just for my alerts. Okay? So there's all different kinds of things. There, as you can see at the top, there's a note, there's an alert, there's an assignment, or a poll. Okay? So I said for them to sign up to get their alerts texted to their cell phones, and most of them wanted to do that. So whenever I post an alert, I know that it's going to go straight to their cell phones. If I just post a note, now some of them wanted to sign up for everything, so if I post a note, they get that on their cell phone as well. Not all of them wanted to do that, because I post several things a day, so I don't want them necessarily get 3 or 4 text messages from me a day. But if I definitely want them to know something, I can send it through alert, and that's just something I set up. You can choose to set it up however you want.
So what kind of junk do you tell them through your alert?
I might say, we have a test tomorrow, don't forget, or remember I asked you to bring this to class tomorrow, or something like that. So maybe 1 or 2 times a week. If there's something that I wanted them to remember for the next day, like 7:30ish, I'll send out an alert that says, don't forget to bring this tomorrow, or something like that. Okay? Alright, so note is here, alert is the same thing. Through your notes is how you're going to be able to post your videos. You can post videos, lesson notes, anything that you can get into a file, you can upload here to Edmodo. Alright, so this is your news feed. That's just kind of an overview of that. Your groups, I want to show you an overview of what you can see from the kids side. Okay, so here's all my kids already signed up. And I can click on a kid, let's click on Nathan here, and I can look at his profile. Let's hope that he's one that's set up. Okay. So when they set up their profile, they set up how do I like to learn and what do I want to be. So all my kids have this set up so I can look on their profile and say, oh, well, this kid learns best hands-on. So I thought that was a cool, it's kind of a new feature. But anytime you're kind of, you know, you've got that kid you can't really figure out how to get to, you can go and say, well, he said he liked to learn this way, and this is what he wants to be. So that gives you an added connection with, you know, something more about the kid that maybe you didn't know. This is a cool feature. I haven't started using it, but you can award badges. So throughout the Edmodo community, they're talking about gamifying your classroom. So you set up points, and they can earn points and do all this, and this is a cool way to be able to do that. So you could, like, you know, if you set up points for whoever turned in all their homework and they earned so many points, you can say, well, you've earned whatever badge, and give them a badge on Edmodo. Okay, what else do I want to show you about? Alright, so that's kind of the student profile. So you have the ability to, number 1, connect with all your students through your post. Number 2, you can see information about them through their profile. Alright, another thing that's really cool about Edmodo is the calendar. Okay, so anything that I've assigned through Edmodo shows up on their calendar that they can see, which we have that through Infinite Campus, but I feel like Edmodo kind of pulls all our resources and puts it into one place for them. So anytime I'm putting my assignments and my tests on their Edmodo calendar. So when I put something on there, it's going to show up as a message on their Edmodo. Ms. Smith said that there's a test on Thursday or whatever, so they can see that that's there. All right.
Can parents get on your text list?
Yes, and I'll talk about that in a minute. All right, grades. So I've given some assignments through Edmodo, and for math, it's kind of difficult to assign like a math problem, but I've been doing some things like I did one called Feedback Friday, okay, where let's see if I can get to an assignment. Let's go back. Where I asked them a couple questions about how they felt about the class, and they turned in some responses. All right, so here I said, write a few sentences answering the following questions. How do you feel about class this week? How do you feel about your grades? What kind of goals do you set? So I've got kids that turn these in, and the calculus kids did really great with that. So they would turn in a response, okay, and then I can say something back to them, and I can give them a little grade. All right, so this is for, I've got 30 kids in a class. I can't always talk to every single kid, but I'm doing this about twice a month. So it took me really only like 20 minutes at home. It's not a paper you have to take home with you, to go through and read all their little responses and type a little message back to them that said, good, I'm glad that you feel good about how you're doing. Or they might have said, like, this student was telling me, where she didn't feel good about what was going on. And so it gives me kind of a pulse on my class of how they feel like they're doing. All right, but this would be, you can do English assignments would be awesome for this, because you could actually turn in your assignment through this, and they can upload files. Anything they can upload, they can attach to their assignment. So this is something kind of cool. If you get tired of taking all those papers home, you can just do it through here, and they can get instant feedback. Yes.
What do you do with the kids that don't have internet access at home?
Well, I do have one computer in my classroom, but like this, if there's no way they can get to a computer, I'm letting them, while they're doing independent work, you go back and do your assignment on the computer in here. I've told them they can come before or after school. But I had one kid that was like, I really just can't do this on the computer, so I just let her write it out and turn it in by hand.
And the library is open from 7:45 to 4, so you can tell your kids that they can come in here and do it before or after school.
And I did a survey the first day of school to kind of figure out who had access to computers. And in all my classes, there was only like 2 or 3 kids in every class that didn't have access to a computer at home. So I felt like this is what's good for the majority of the kids, and then I can work with the 2 or 3 that can't do that. Okay, so I talked about calendar, I talked about doing assignments, and your library is a really cool feature.
So they can't talk to each other though, right?
Yes,
They
but
can't
not
talk
in
to
a
each other?
private way.
Okay.
They
You can
can-
post something where they can see other kids' responses?
Yes.
And then comment back and
Yes.
forth. Okay.
Yep. All right. So the library, okay, is where you can do everything. So attached to post, if I go here, it's going to show everything that I've posted. All right. You can add these to folders. So I've set up my lesson notes for one of my classes. Okay. So over here on the side is a link to this, and if you make it public, anyone can see this. So what I did is I just put the link to this on my web page. So instead of having to post my notes on my web page and on Edmodo, there's just a link, and if they click on the link, anybody can see all my notes in one place, and it's going to look like this. It's a really cool little format for them to be able to click through everything. So they can get to this directly from my web page without even having an Edmodo login. So if a parent goes to my website and wants to know, well, what's she doing, they can click that link that says lesson notes, and it's going to take them to this page. So you're not having to do double. Because when I first started using this, I was like, well, yeah, but it really needs to be on my website too. I don't want to have to post it 2 places. But I feel with Edmodo, it's so easy to just post things on here, because you just type in this little box and you post it and it's there. And you don't have to figure out, okay, well, I'm going to click around until I get the right page and all that. It's just all right here on the main page. Okay, so I talked about calendar, your assignments, your library. So that's kind of an overview of what this can do for you. Another thing, like if you go down, let's look at my latest post. I'm going to check my time. I'm going to spend 2 more minutes and then we're going to actually get into it. Alright, so I have joined a community there's communities. And let me see if I can find one. Alright, I'm not seeing my poster. Okay, but there's communities, so I've joined these communities over this side. So math, okay? All these math teachers that are signed up for Edmodo, they use this. And I can post questions and they'll say things back to me. So in my community, like, I have people all the time posting ideas about, like, anybody have any cool activities for teaching decimals, and then people comment on you. Okay, so this is kind of a way to build your professional learning network. Almost, you know, because we've started using Twitter that way, where you sign up with Twitter and you connect with other teachers on Twitter. Well, this is kind of an added dimension to that, because you can see other teachers. There's teachers from all over the world on this page, and I get tons of great ideas on this. Like, over the summer, I connected with other calculus teachers that want to do, like, a Skype kind of thing, and I don't know if I'll actually do it, but just to see that possibility is out there was cool to me. Okay. So that's kind of the overview. Anybody have any questions so far about kind of what Edmodo does?
On the calendar and all, does it get duplicated from your website? I mean,
It's not going to connect to your website.
okay, because what I'm wondering is if we have to keep up our website, we're keeping up the Edmodo site, haven't we just doubled our work?
Right.
That's my question.
And I don't do the calendar on the website. I use Edmodo for the bulk of my things, and I think, but I'm using the grade book too. And the grade book has that new calendar feature. So when I go on and I put my assignment on there, all I use the calendar for on here is going to be my test. And then the assignments that I put through Edmodo, they automatically show up there. But I'm not really maintaining my calendar on here per se. I'm using Infinite Campus, the new little feature you got. And like you say, I don't want to, that's what I said about when I post things, it's going to automatically sync to my webpage because I don't want to have to do that twice. The reason I like this better than the webpage is because it gives that feature where the kids can talk back to me. And on my website, it's just a one-way. But on here, it's a
But
two-way.
can't you have to talk back to you on the blog? I'm not trying to be,
No, you're right.
yeah, I'm not trying to be, I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. Because I like the post, I like it where they get alerts and stuff, I
Yeah.
love that. But I'm also looking for a way that I'm not spending my whole time updating Google.
Yeah, and you can do that on your website. You can do the message board thing on your website. But that's going to all be public. And with Edmodo, they can send things just to you that's going to be private. So that would be the reason that you want it.
And students don't have to have email to use this, so this can be like a form of email for them to you only.
Right.
It's a safe form. And you can pick and choose website or Edmodo for any of the features. You don't have to use any of them.
Yeah, and last year what I did was I tried it with just one class because it seems kind of overwhelming at first. So I just tried it with one class, and to be honest with you, all I really used it for was to be able to get that communication to them. So they all signed up for an account, and they never actually went back to Edmodo. They just, you know, it was my way to send something to their cell phones. And if that's all you use it for, that's kind of added, you know, that's something that's different that this does that your website can't do.
Can you put like a quiz or something on there that
Yeah.
they take on the site?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of an additional, we'll need to do another training on
Okay,
that.
that's fine.
Because I use Google Docs a lot and Google Forms. Alright, but if you're gonna, so there's two different ways. You can do the quiz on your website, or you can do the quiz through Google Docs, and you can post it here, and they can do it right inside of Edmodo. But that's gonna be more like a more advanced thing later. Okay, so I want to get you guys signed up before you leave for Edmodo, just so you have a way to do it. So go to hallco.edmodo.com, and you will come to a page that looks like this. And you're going to click I'm a teacher. Alright, and in your school code, you're going to type in this little code that's from your piece of paper. And the rest you just fill out.
Ms. Julian, please call Ms. Childers. Ms. Julian, please call Ms. Childers.